Good day everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a follow-up video. So if a lot of you remember, and a lot of you should remember, back a little while ago I produced a little video called Top 10 Secret or Unreleased Champions, which did look at a lot of champions that have been secret or unreleased. There were a lot of people interested in the video and liked the video. There were some that did question the video and some that also questioned the extent of, well, why are you doing these ones? This isn't technically one of them. And other people came up with very decent suggestions of champions I'd not featured in the video. So let's go over those champions, of which there are 7 further ones. And I'm probably going to have in the comment section furthermore of champions I missed off of this one. Love you. But I think it's at this point of going like, okay, well, this is going to be the final video I do on it. And maybe down the line there will be some more info, but this is really rounding together this to a nice little 17, let's say. Now I want to give a shout out to Frojo34, who sent through a lot of the information we're going to be covering today. A link to his channel is in the description. And yes, let's just get right into some of these weird, kooky misclassifications and other stuff that was associated and is still associated with Marvel Contest of Champions. Before we go anywhere, let's try and give a bit of a like spike to the video. Let's try and hit about 500 likes, please. That would be amazing. That would make my day. Much love in advance. Now let's kick things off with Rocket. Rocket is a bit of a riddle wrapped in enigma. Now yes, this is a bit distorted and blurry, but those were the blurry days of MCOC. In 2014, it was just blurry and stuff. No, it wasn't. It's just a case that this is the best image we could find. So Rocket, first of all, saying he's a tech, yes, that makes sense. He has technical advancements, especially within his body. And in some cases you could say, is this cyborg in nature? Kind of. It's kind of anthropomorphic. It's like Wolverine, but with, well, electrical bits and stuff. Saying, do this, do that. But he's stronger to a degree. But yeah, looking at other things, I've seen science interference. Yes, in what his origin story points to, there is scientific interference. So I think it's based on the fact he uses a lot of technical advancements and as well his engineering knowledge that kind of puts him into that tech territory. Next up, and you have the Watcher. The Watcher is still a prominent member of the characters or the champions that are overseeing everything. You will not see a Watcher as a, well, I say that and it will probably have that at some point you can fight the Watcher. No, it's never really been what the Watchers have been about, and it's already been a case of just being there on the outskirts, looking down over the contest and realm as well. So the narrative and the story for this will either be of no involvement, some involvement, and just, well, we'll have to see, because I don't know if this will be playing a part in the 10th of December, whenever this video goes out. So it could be today, could be tomorrow, could have been last week. That there's some interference from the Watcher, and whether or not it will be a playable or fightable champion. It's definitely there as some sort of champion that, or character that has interference on the story arc to things. So in some ways yes, but other ways not so much. The other character that's kind of secret to a degree is Iron Spider, or the Iron Spider armor. Not the MCU version, but the version that's on screen now. This particular Spider armor is a very popular one. Also as popular as Spider-Man 2099, but I think that this is equally popular, especially as it has those legs, those spider legs that are able to do a lot more damage. We've seen it in the MCU to a degree, but this one is more in keeping with that kind of beautiful gold and like red, maroonish type color. It's just a nice blend. It looks really nice and would be great to see in game at a later date. This was featured in, I believe, a motion comic a long time ago. I think around the time of the Stealth Suit Spidey and as well the release of Spider-Man Far From Home. So everything tied in really nicely, and it would be great down the line to see this being put in game. And I'm sure that in the next year, this will be definitely put in game. That and Spider-Man 2099. But you know, you got to look to the future, and Spider-Verse Into the Spider-Verse #2 is not out until 2022, so it could be a case that that ties in well with that, and that's why Kabam maybe are waiting off and pulling the trigger. But I think that's more for Spider-Man 2099 than this version, but you never know what's around the corner. Okay, Old Man Human Torch. Yes, Old Man Human Torch. That was I believe a playable enemy in a quest. I don't know if it was the Trial of Reed Richards, but it's definitely a case that Old Man Human Torch definitely looks good. I can't remember if there was a differentiation on the types of abilities the character had. I can imagine it was just like the same copy and paste. But maybe if Kabam decided to put something in like this that was a playable version down the line, or maybe there was a story arc that they could do that, then it would be cool to see it. I just don't think it's the right time. Maybe even in like the future, if the game has a further 6 years, let's say, and that's very wishful thinking for a mobile game. Mobile games are only meant to last a very short space of time. I mean, you're looking at Marvel Future Fight and the way that that game's going, to where future games are coming in. Marvel Future Revolutions is about to start. We've also got Marvel Realm of Champions is just going to be out this month. So it would be amazing to think that. But as well, if there's any kind of future proofing or planning, it would be cool to see that there's this kind of older and newer story arc where the older characters are fighting off in some sort of like civil war of the future. So yeah, I'd love to see that. But yeah, looking at Human Torch, Old Man version, it was pretty cool. Now, also looks like I've got something wrong, and that is Jean Grey. Now, I did say about like seeing a Jean Grey version. I don't know if well, personally, I more want to see one that's more replicating the certain version that I like of the X-Men Blue era. This is, I think, a replication of another part of the X-Men Blue era. So my one is more of enjoying the hair that's kind of up in the ponytail, and as well as got a headband, but as well the design is more incorporating those pinks and the blues. Maybe not some of the pinks, but I mean the yellow, it seems. This kind of 90s version, the Jim Lee version, the one that really kind of went into the X-Men animated series, I really like this version. It's just a personal one that I like. But it's I don't think it would be ever something that Kabam would put in game. They would more than likely go with this version, which takes a nod to the House of X stuff, and especially that makes more sense. It's more of a popular run. This new X-Men series, which was introduced last year, it's great. It's well worth a read, and as well buying any kind of graphic novels associated or comic book collect, your choice. But yeah, it's the version that you see on screen at the moment. It does look cool. But I just would prefer Kabam to go away from this version, especially as it looks a bit too similar to Dark Phoenix and Standard Phoenix. Well, more so with Standard Phoenix. That's really my thing. It's just making characters look different than what we've got in games. So that's why I'd like the Jim Lee version to be put in, as opposed to the version that you see on screen. Also, shout out to the other MCOC, Gabe, because of this. This is the ISO-infused version of Phoenix. Now that does mean there's way too many Phoenixes. There's Dark Phoenix, there's Ice Phoenix, and I'm not going to go and talk about any of the kind of the mesh ones, the ones that are kind of combined, especially. And I know that they are going to be released as a key factor to the Book 2 Act 1. So I kind of feel like that's not really forgotten, or it's not really rare because they're coming back. These are kind of champions that are more so one-offs. So yeah, the ISO-infused version, I think looks really amazing. But it's another one of these champions that it's just for the interaction. It's a one-off, and it's kind of cool, but it's not really my vibe. I don't know if anybody else would kind of. I mean, playable. I don't think this would be playable unless Kabam started incorporating those, because then it goes back to the weird ones that we had, like the dark versions or the children of Thanos, which were like King Groot and Scarlet Witch and Hyperion. I think it was a Hyperion, wasn't there? And so many others. So I just kind of not so much with that. And a final champion that is kind of a rare one is that back in 2014, when the game was launched, it was a case that the Captain Marvel had her hair down. So it wasn't a case it was in the helmet, it was just hair down. I don't think anything dramatically has changed, and it would be the same moveset that was done. There is another image and there is a video. If I find the video, I'll try and post it in the description. But yeah, there's some really weird stuff if you go back to 2014. Some really weird classifications of things. But here's the thing. Captain Marvel like this, do you know what? I think it looks pretty cool. However, though, there's no point bringing it back, because we've got Captain Marvel movie in game, and that makes more sense to have that. And especially with the character being better. So yeah, it's all good. And that's been a video. I've given you 7 more of these very rare, forgotten, secret champions that were released and either forgotten, unreleased to a point you couldn't get them, or changed dramatically from the start point. So yeah, there's a few things I think barely kind of passed getting into the video, but it was fun to go back and be a bit nostalgic, and hopefully after these 6 years you can get nostalgic as well. And thank you very much for coming out and watching this video. I'll see you all very soon. Check out some content on screen. Bye bye for now.